Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz, and I have my fantastic co-host here,
Eddie Nicholas. Greetings, everyone. Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sedan. What's up, Mr. Cruz?
Man, what's happening, Mr. Nicholas? I'm so excited to be here. I have a great set of pieces of information that I want to go over with you guys. As I promised, today's episode is mostly focused on music publishing.
Okay.
So if you're an artist, a DJ, or just a music enthusiast, we always like for you to tune into the Freedom Radio Hour because we give you the latest music business news and trends from around the world. This is Season 1, Episode 6.
Episode 6. Wow, we're moving on up.
We are moving We're moving right on up, man. So before we start this workshop on music publishing, I had to give you a quick update. You remember that we were talking about the U2 album that was given out for free? It was the Songs of Innocence album. You remember when it came out, it was set up so that it was forced on the user.
On the general public,
Yeah, so if you're an iTunes person, you had a library, it was forced onto your account for free, but it was forced on. So there was a backlash around that because people didn't like the product being forced on them, and it took up all the room on your phone. So if you're like me and you don't have a lot of room left, it was eaten up by U2's new album, whether you were a fan or you weren't a fan.
But that's only if you downloaded it, right?
Well, no, they did it so that it was forced on you. So by virtue of having an account, you just got it the next morning.
Okay.
So they had to issue an apology, and they had to Apple issued a way in which it was easy for the user to remove it. You know, so they had to kind of do damage control. So our critique last time when we talked about this was, is this a bad thing? When you infuse technology with the music, even if you're giving it out for free, is it a problem because the technology makes it so that either you're giving up too much information about yourself in order to get it, or it's forced on you, which people don't like. So anyway, just a quick update on that. New York Times just released an article that said that Apple have announced that it's the largest download album of all time. So it's been evidently downloaded 26 million complete times since its release. So this is not the people that it was forced on. This was after that, the people that clicked and downloaded it for free. 26 million of them. So now U2 finally came out, because we never heard the apology from U2 until now. Now they're apologizing and saying, oops, we understand it was a faux pas, but our idea is to try to shake things up a little bit. Do you feel like they kind of knew it was going to blow up like that?
Well, after 26 million downloads, I'll be slapping myself in the face because that's 26 million people that downloaded that song for free. That could have been money in their pocket. Anyway, do they earn something from that, even though they gave it away for free just for the advertisement?
Well, I think that they got a boatload of money from Apple to get down with this and do it this way. So them giving it out to the user for free, that's free for us, but Apple paid them.
Paid something. So money was exchanged somewhere.
Exactly.
Everything ain't free that we think is supposedly free.
It never is free. That's the ticket here. If we could realize everything has a cost, So anyway, so let's break down this music publishing. So what I want to basically talk about is I want to give you information. So again, if you're an artist, if you're writing songs, if you're a recording artist, if you're a DJ, a producer, or whatever, pay attention to this. We're giving you information. We want to define what music publishing is, and we're going to explore the 3 main areas that you make money from music publishing. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is an action plan. So we should all kind of start doing something if you're definitely a person who's an artist or writing your own songs, All right. So music publishing. Music publishing is the owning of and the exploitation of our own original music or work. So in other words, it's your intellectual property, your own music. That's what music publishing is. So you have a way in which you can exploit it because it's your own body of work. So that's where music publishing comes in. So I was breaking this down into 3 different quizzes because I want to see what people know out there. If you're listening here at the Freedom Radio Hour, think about an answer for yourself while I ask my co-host.
Put me on the spot.
Exactly. Question number 1. Okay. You're a poet. You wrote an original poem or song. Okay. At what point is that work protected by copyright? A, as soon as the songwriter files a copyright notice with the U.S. Copyright Office. B, as soon as the songwriter performs it publicly for the first time? Or C, as soon as the songwriter registers the song with like ASCAP or BMI? Or D, as soon as it's fixed for the first time? That means that it was just pen to paper or recorded for the first time.
Woo! I'm going to go with as soon as you perform it publicly. Oh!
No, the answer is D, as soon as it's fixed. So under the current U.S. copyright law, a work is automatically protected by copyright when it's created and fixed. A work is protected as soon as it's fixed in any tangible medium, whether it's written on a piece of paper or recorded while you perform it.
Oh, okay, so we kind of both right. C and D.
No, you can't
But
just
D,
perform it. You have to record it while you perform it.
while you're performing it. Okay.
Yep, and that's the
Because
key.
that documents.
Yes, that document. All right, so we want to talk about three main income sources. So as a music publisher, there's three main areas you can make some money. The first is by earning mechanical royalties. That's a fancy way of saying downloads. Okay. The second way is by having your work licensed into film or TV.
That means other people pick it up.
That's right, and that's called sync licensing. So if you ever hear those words, that's what it means. And number three is by earning public performance royalties. That's someone who publicly performs a song you wrote in public, you make some royalties. So we're going to go over more of that and more right here at the Freedom Radio Hour.
Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right, now, welcome back to Capital Radio 91.6 FM. I'm Eddie Nicholas, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Mr.
Adam Cruz. We're here in the building covering music, business news, and trends from around the world. Before we broke, we were starting to talk about what music publishing is. This is our workshop tonight to give you guys a little information. So if you're an artist, a poet, a producer, or you're writing songs and you don't know what to do with them, take a listen and maybe you can get some information you can take with you along your journey. All right? So our first question was, at what point is your piece of work, whatever you jotted down, is protected by copyright? We just learned that it's as soon as you put pen to paper or record it in a studio. So it has to be recorded or documented in some way, and it's already protected by copyright. So there's a misconception sometimes that you need to mail it into the Copyright Office. Yes, you can. That affords you certain rights that the Copyright Office gives you by having it registered with them. But by the point of it being fixed, it's already copyright written. Okay?
And make sure you let people know what you mean by fixed, because fixed means that it's completed and done.
Right. Correct. So it's a tangible piece of work in a tangible medium, either written on a piece of paper or recorded in a vocal setting like we do a song, you know? So that was question one. Here's question number two, y'all. True or false? Songs must be registered with the Copyright Office before you can release them commercially. True or false? What do you think?
They could be either or, but I'm going to say false.
You say false?
Uh-huh.
You are correct. False. While many songwriters choose to register their works because it establishes a public record and it also permits additional damages if infringed, it is not required. Okay?
As long as you can prove that you were part of the original piece and the piece was fixed by you in the beginning, that's your copyright right there.
Exactly.
In some instances.
Remember, it's fixed when it is put pen to paper and recorded. Okay? So that's what that is. Question number two. So we were breaking down what the three buckets of income were, you know? So I want to talk about now ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC and what they are. So as a writer or a publisher, you may elect to sign up with a performance rights organization. They're called a PRS or PRO. What a performance right organization helps songwriters do and publishers do is get paid for the usage of their music by collecting one of the most important forms of publishing revenue, which is performance royalties. Okay? So ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, they collect performance royalties. As a songwriter, composer, or a lyricist, you're owned what is called a performance royalty anytime your music is played on radio stations, whether it be terrestrial, like FM radio, satellite, or internet. If it's used on TV shows or commercials, or it's performed in live venues, you are owed a performance royalty. Okay? And the other thing I want to talk about is those performance royalties are paid by radio stations, by those venues, by TV networks, and they're paid to those organizations. So they pay ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC the right to be able to use or
Well, if that's the case, I think a lot of these little bars is getting away with murder.
Well, that's very interesting because here in the States, we do have a battle and a debate that's happening about venues, nightclubs and such that don't report the songs that are being played in their venue back to Performance Rights Society. But other countries have a much stricter set of rules around that. So like in the Netherlands, on a station like Free Party Radio, they insisted that you supply them with a playlist because they had to report that back to their version of ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, you know? But in the U.S., we have yet to have a strong enough enforcement policy, so it prohibits clubs from playing these songs without it being sent, the information sent back to these organizations.
And then not only that, I also noticed with some of these organizations, especially CSAC. Now, CSAC is the only one that I know of that pays when you have performed your recorded work and it is submitted to them. I don't know if, in other words, say you wrote a song and your song is under CSAC and you go out and perform that song.
Right.
You can submit that song to CSAC for them to view it and for you to get paid for performing your work and performing your song.
Right, that's correct, because that's your performance royalty. That's
Because I don't remember ASCAP or BMI having that.
Well, I think the biggest selling point from a CSAC is that they're more invested and they'll go out more to try to get that money than say the others. But they all kind of claim that to a certain degree, you know. So question number 3. Go ahead, let it go.
You guys go there. Go. Well, I ain't seen nothing. I did get one check from ASCAP for my music being played in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Ah.
So I did get a check. It was only $10, but I got one.
Do you remember what song? Did it say what song?
And that's the thing. It had to be Carry On because at the time that was one of the only songs that was out that had my name. And it was a club scene from my understanding. So they must have used a little snippet that got me garnered $10 from over in, it was Belgium, of all places.
Belgium?
Yes.
Wait, so it's like a Belgian version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
You know
I wonder.
what? I have no idea. Maybe they show Buffy the Vampire Slayer over there in syndication, but I earned a check. And wait a minute, it's so funny I didn't even cash it. I framed it.
I love it. Well, your performance rights organization was hoping you would cash it because, as a member, you're entitled to that income.
Yes.
So just to recap, again, well, all we're trying to do is understand the 3 main buckets for making some money, okay? We were talking about, number 1, the main bucket is mechanical royalties. That's your downloads. So when you say things are available on iTunes and such, that's where it's available, you know? The second way is when your music is licensed into film or TV. That's called sync licensing. And the last way is through these performance royalties that we just talked about. When someone performs your song or you perform your song publicly, you're owed some money for that, you know? So the last bit I want to talk about is an action plan, because now that we have this information, what should we do? Well, here's some basics. First of all, I want you to consider forming a business entity for your work, like an LLC, an LLP or something. Why? Because you want to protect yourself in case you're ever sued for any reason. So your personal assets aren't in jeopardy, just your corporate assets, and that's a totally better thing for you. So consider that for business purposes. And number 2, join a performance right organization. There's no reason why you shouldn't join an ASCAP or a BMI or a CSAC.
And it's cheap. It's cheap to join them.
It's nominal. It's like $50 or something, you know? And number 3, if you're already a member, make sure that you know exactly how to register your new titles. That is the biggest piece of information I can give you. We'll go over more of an action plan when we come back here on the Freedom Radio Hour. See you guys when we return.
Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
Welcome back, Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sedan. Boom, 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 boom. We're getting ready to close out. So what's up, Adam?
So I just wanted to end our workshop here and just conclude with our action plan. Again, we covered music publishing today, and also if you're an artist, a producer, or a poet, and you're writing things down and you're fixing them, like we talked about earlier, make sure that you are taking full advantage by establishing an action plan. What I want you to do is consider forming a business entity for yourself, an LLC, an LLP, something like that. Number 2, join a performance right organization like an ASCAP, BMI, or CSAP.
And, and of course, looking to see what organization best will benefit you and what you want out of that organization, because you have many to choose from. You have these specific 3 that are located here in the States. So do some investigation.
Definitely. And if you are part of a PRO already, make sure that you know exactly how to register your new titles and keep your account up to date. What does that mean? Every time you have a song published or a fixed piece, make sure you register it with ASCAP or BMI. And the last thing is make sure that you listen to the Freedom Radio Hour and stay attuned with all that we're talking about and comment under everything we're posting, because we want to know what you think.
We're here every Friday, 6 p.m.
That's right. And here for the Sudan, we want to let you guys know about all the latest and greatest. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz.
And I'm Eddie Nicholas, and thank you for once again joining us on Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan. Heartbeat, you make me feel so sweet. Take care.
Later.